Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into NitiVitt. It's this fascinating new platform that's aiming to completely replace financial confusion, and honestly, that aggressive mis-selling we've all seen, with pure deterministic mathematical logic. If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by financial advice that just feels like a giant black box, well, you're absolutely going to want to pay close attention as we break this down. Let's look at this quote. Most platforms tell you what to invest in. We teach you why. That right there, that perfectly captures the entire mission of NitiVitt. It's all about educating you before recommending anything and empowering you before trying to influence your wallet. It's basically a total rejection of that blind, just buy this fund advice that has dominated personal finance for way too long. So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover 1. The modern finance problem, 2. How AI assists while math decides, 3. The intelligence suite, 4. The journey from confusion to clarity, and finally 5. Democratizing financial intelligence. All right, section 1, the modern finance problem. Let's talk about why so many young professionals in India feel just completely overwhelmed by their finances, despite having endless access to information. Think about traditional finance for a second. It's mostly built on black boxes, commission-driven sales pitches, confusing jargon, and this really demoralizing obsession with your absolute net worth. NitiVitt is flipping that entire paradigm on its head. Instead, they offer transparent, unbiased, zero-commission guidance, and they do it in plain English. Plus, they actually score your behavioral health, not just how much sheer wealth you happen to have right now. Look, Indians have literally never had more access to financial products. Yet somehow, we've never been more confused, right? Advisors are out there pushing whatever earns them the highest commission, and staring at spreadsheets doesn't really tell you anything useful. NitiVitt exists to answer that one simple question, keeping you up at night, and way actually on track. It diagnoses your financial health, protects you against risk, and teaches you the exact why behind every single move you make. Which brings us right into section 2, AI assists, math decides. To fix this whole modern finance problem, NitiVitt is introducing a massive paradigm shift in how financial technology operates. And here is their golden rule. AI assists, but mathematics decides. In an era where literally everyone is rushing to use AI to just generate your financial plans out of thin air, NitiVitt draws a super strict line. AI is only used to explain the math to you in plain English. It is never, ever used to actually calculate the results. This is crucial because it completely protects you from getting biased, or worse, hallucinated advice from an AI. Their philosophy basically boils down to this: education before recommendation, transparency before conversion. The core engine runs on a very strict logic. If a formula can't decide it, an opinion definitely shouldn't. That means every single output you get is backed by fully auditable logic, visible math, and crystal clear assumptions. There is no guessing involved whatsoever. Let's move on to section 3, the intelligence suite, and see exactly how this deterministic math works in practice. At the very center of everything is NitiCore. You can think of it as this single, massive financial brain. It takes your structured data and processes it using configurable formulas. And the real beauty of a deterministic engine like this is that identical inputs must always produce identical outputs. There are 5 main tools running on this brain, and the first one is an absolute game changer. So instead of obsessing over your net worth, which honestly just reflects how long you've been working, NitiVitt calculates what they call your Niti score. It's a 0 to 100 metric that evaluates your true financial health across 6 auditable pillars. We're talking savings, emergency fund, insurance, investments, debt, and retirement. And it's dynamic. If you improve one specific area, you literally see the math change in real time. It's all about building resilience, not just staring at a bank balance. Now, think about this for a second. If your financial habits actually had an age, how old would yours be? Well, this brings us to an incredible tool called NitiAge. It takes all your complex financial behaviors and translates them into one super relatable number that represents your financial maturity. So having high-interest credit card debt, that literally ages your profile. But having disciplined savings and adequate term insurance, that acts like a fountain of youth and actively lowers your NitiAge. And hey, before you make a massive lifestyle commitment, like buying that expensive car or taking out a huge home loan, you use NitiSim. This tool's awesome because it lets you safely simulate the 20-year wealth impact of that exact decision. You basically get to play what if with your finances without actually altering your real profile. It's an absolute lifesaver for preventing those tempting lifestyle upgrades that silently destroy your compounding potential down the road. Okay, section 4, from confusion to clarity. Let's actually walk through the exact roadmap a user takes to move from total overwhelm to absolute auditable clarity. It's a beautifully simple 4-step journey. Step 1, you do a quick 5-minute guided profile. And the best part? They only ask for data they're actually going to use. No filling out endless forms that don't matter. So you tell them about yourself. Step 2, the engine analyzes your finances. Step 3, you receive your recommendations. And step 4, you build long-term confidence. Once the platform analyzes your 6 pillars using all that deterministic math was talked about, it doesn't just hand you some generic, static checklist. No way. It actually generates a NitiVitt path, which is a personalized, prioritized roadmap ordered by mathematical impact. And then an AI layer called NitiVitt Guide steps in as your mentor, coaching you in plain English exactly why you should take step 1 before you ever touch step 2. Which leads us perfectly into our final section, democratizing financial intelligence. Historically, getting this level of unbiased, zero-commission advice was strictly reserved for the ultra-wealthy. But NitiVitt is pushing this to the masses via a highly structured educational content strategy. Let's look at some of the tangible rules they teach. For example, one of their foundational rules is the 6-month survival rule. A lot of platforms out there will yell at you to invest every penny of your surplus immediately. But NitiVitt's math dictates that salaried workers need to hold a baseline of 6 months of purely essential expenses first. And notice I said essential. We're talking rent and groceries here, not vacations and lifestyle costs. You've got to build your armor before you go attacking the market, right? Then there's the 20% DTI rule. This means your debt-to-income ratio absolutely must stay below 20%. Why? Because over-leveraging your salary completely destroys your monthly cash flow. Toxic unsecured debt, like those high-interest credit cards or personal loans, compounds way, way faster than any investment could ever grow. The math makes it painfully clear. Pay that down before you even think about trying to beat the market with an index fund. And when it comes to long-term wealth, they teach the 25x retirement rule. Look, retirement usually feels like this abstract, impossible goal, doesn't it? Well, NitiVitt's engine gives you a rock-solid, concrete, mathematical target. You need to accumulate 25 times your expected annual retirement expenses. Suddenly, it's not some guessing game anymore. It's a very specific, tangible number you can actually plan towards using their simulators. All of these core lessons, like prioritizing consistency over market timing, understanding essential versus lifestyle emergency funds, building a debt snowball to clear your cash flow and gain psychological momentum, or using the 100-age rule so you aren't dangerously overexposed to market volatility as you get older, it's all designed for everyday Indians. It's about prioritizing discipline over shiny products. It's a living, breathing financial plan that actually adapts as your behavior improves. By evaluating your financial behavior rather than just looking at your sheer accumulated wealth, NitiVitt is fundamentally about turning plain English knowledge into lasting financial confidence. The whole goal is beautifully simple. Know better, plan better, grow better. They are literally taking the weaponized complexity of the finance industry and breaking it down into transparent, bite-sized steps that anyone, and I mean anyone, can follow. So as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought. Thinking back to that concept of your financial age we talked about, ask yourself right now, are your current daily financial habits putting you 5 years ahead, or are they holding you 7 years behind? I really encourage you to think about whether your current financial plan is just a confusing black box or a true roadmap of pure clarity. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.